It has been over a year since Ash Ketchum finally won his first Pokemon League. The internet rejoiced. After 20 years, Ash had finally won a league. After 20 long seasons, after 1,000 episodes, Ash had finally won. But while everyone else was celebrating, I couldn't help but feel like something was off about that last battle. Something didn't feel right. And what if I told you that the Pokemon Company themselves rigged the tournament in Ash's favor? And I have proof of it. The lagging Leland theory. Hello internet, welcome to Lagging Leland Theory, the show that really needs to stop copying MatPet. Now I'm sure everybody who's watching this video, or at least anybody who's been keeping up with Pokemon news in the past 2 years, would know that Ash Ketchum won the Alola League. And while everybody was celebrating Ash becoming a Pokemon Master, I just noticed way too many things that seemed very off about the Alola League. From the Alola League's competition to Ash's legendary Pokemon, there's a lot of things that were in Ash's favor in the Alola League that weren't in his favor in other leagues. Which brings us to today's theory. Was the Alola League rigged in Ash's favor? But before we look at the evidence, and trust me, there is a lot to cover in this video, we need to do a quick recap of every time that Ash lost in the previous leagues. This is going to be very important later on. In the Indigo League, or the Kanto League, Ash made 16th place and had to face off against Richie. Richie was a similar trainer with similar Pokemon. He was kind of like a clone of Ash. Unfortunately for Ash, before the fight with Richie, Team Rocket tried to capture Pikachu and ended up weakening a lot of Ash's Pokemon. This forced Ash to use Charizard, and if you guys remember, Ash's Charizard was a disobedient punk. Ash's Charizard refused to fight and ended up taking a nap mid-battle. This got Ash disqualified. After Kanto, we move on not to Johto, but the Orange Islands. Because in the Orange Islands, they actually had an Orange League, and Ash won first place. And it's kind of sad that people seem to forget that Ash won a Pokemon League near the beginning of his journey, and just people seem to forget about it, even though it's a serious deal. Okay, now we can move on to Johto. In the Johto League, Ash makes 8th place and ends up losing to Harrison, this rando with a Blaziken. Ash makes 8th place again in the Hoenn League, but this time ends up losing to another rando, except this time he ended up losing to a Meowth. And before moving on to Sinnoh, Ash also won the Battle Frontier, which is one of his greatest accomplishments. But sadly, like the Orange League, the Battle Frontier is something that not a lot of fans remember, even though it is a really big deal for Ash. Moving on to the Sinnoh League, this time Ash makes 4th place. But Ash had terrible luck this time, because he was facing off against Tobias. Have you ever battled someone online and then they ended up having shiny mythics that like one-shotted everything on your team? That's basically who Tobias was. This jerk had a Darkrai and a Latios and legit knocked out all of Ash's team with just those 2 Pokemon. Along with Richie versus Ash in the Indigo League, I would say that this is one of the most unfair league battles. It's really not fair that Ash had to be facing off against these mythicals and legendaries, and really it just makes you wonder, where the heck did he get these? And what else is on this guy's team? We really don't know. I don't think they should have allowed Tobias to use any mythicals or legendaries in a league, but really Ash had no chance against him. Just a quick mention before we move on to Unova, Ash also won the Sinnoh Cup while in Sinnoh. In the Unova League, Ash makes 8th place and loses to Cameron. This fight really just boils down to dumb luck. Cameron is kind of an idiot, and most of his Pokemon were able to land lucky critical hits that were able to take out some of Ash's Pokemon. And his Lucario was lucky enough to evolve during the match, which really just granted him the win in the end. Alright, now we're in XY, aka Kalos. This is where I would say they had some of the best battles in the entire anime, and this was my favorite season of Pokemon. No doubt, XY had some of the most intense battles in the entire series. This time Ash faces off against Alolan, one of the most powerful trainers he's ever faced. And in the most intense battle in the entire anime, Ash lost. But man, he went all out, and you can tell this is Ash in his prime. The real reason Ash lost this time was just bad writing. It seemed like it was a last-minute decision to make Ash lose the Kalos League. Everything pointed towards Ash winning this time. Okay, so it took us a while, but we're finally in the Alola League. There were two things that really made the Alola League different from the other leagues. The first being that anyone could enter this league. You didn't need to have any gym badges or prove anything. This was a league for everybody to enter and participate in. And the second is that they only allowed 2 Pokemon. The only other league that only allowed 2 Pokemon was the Kanto League. Every other league required all 6 Pokemon. Like in XY, this time Ash makes it to the finals and ends up facing off against Gladion. To be fair, Ash's final battle with Gladion was pretty good, but it was nothing Super Saiyan level like they're pulling off in XY. And Ash wins by using counter against counter, which, be honest, on the spot, it actually seemed like he made it up and he didn't think it was gonna work. But it ended up working somehow. Honestly, I think that should have been illegal. So Ash won the Alola League and every fan was pleased, but there's one thing that no one else bothered to look at that is actually way more important than you think, and that is the competition that Ash was facing off against in the Alola League. Taking a closer look at the roster, you might see some trainers that are not very experienced. Trainers like Sophocles, Lily, Mallow, Lana, and even Jesse and James are just inexperienced trainers that really don't belong in the big leagues. It may not seem like it, but that's actually a good chunk of Ash's competition. And if we look back, the Alola League allowed anybody to participate, so it wasn't reserved for only the best of the trainers in Alola, unlike other leagues where you had to fight the best to become the best. There was one thing that was very different about the Alola region that a lot of fans noticed, and that was the lack of any gyms. Now, it may not seem like it, but gyms are actually very important to the Pokemon leagues. Gyms are not there for you to have a nice battle. They're there to prove yourself worthy of entering a Pokemon League. Sure, Alola has the Island Trials that are similar to gyms, but still, the Island Trials are there so you can prove yourself worthy to get a Z Crystal, not so that you can enter a league. So basically, Ash was facing off against very low-level competition compared to other leagues where Ash was only facing off against the best of the best in that region. Even good competition that came out of that league like Gladion or How are still not very strong compared to master level trainers like Alolan. And with all of this in mind, there's a good chance that the Alola League is not even that good compared to the Orange League or the Battle Frontier. In the Orange League, Ash had to face off against some pretty powerful trainers around the Orange Islands. And I didn't mention this earlier, but in the Battle Frontier, in order for Ash to win, he had to take down a Regice with Pikachu. And if you guys remember, every legendary is way more powerful in the anime than they are in the games. And there is no arguing that the Regice in the anime is way stronger than Gladion's Lycanroc. So all of this means that the Orange League and the Battle Frontier were actually more challenging leagues for Ash to win than the Alola League. So did I just expose Ash Ketchum's quote-unquote greatest victory? Well, yes, but this was only the tip of the iceberg. Sure, I exposed the most obvious thing that was in Ash's advantage, but there was way more that I didn't talk about. Stuff like Mega Evolution, Ash's incredible luck of finding and catching legendaries, and him breaking several rules in the Alola League. There is a lot more to cover, and I hope you guys are ready. Alright, let's talk about Z-moves versus Mega Evolution. In the XY seasons of Pokemon, Mega Evolution was still a brand new thing that was barely being discovered. Megastones were very hard to find, and a trainer had to have a very strong bond with their Pokemon in order to activate Mega Evolution. And most of the trainers in the Kalos League had Mega Evolution because of their strong bonds with their Pokemon. In the Sun and Moon seasons of Pokemon, we had Z-moves. Unlike Mega Evolution, Z-moves have been used by trainers for a very long time. Z-Crystals are available to a lot more trainers unlike Megastones, and Z-moves also require a good bond with your Pokemon. But which of these very powerful abilities is stronger? Luckily for me, the anime has already answered this question. In the first season of the Sun and Moon anime, Ash and the gang go to the Kanto region. While they're in Kanto, Kiawe and Brock have a pretty good battle. But what's very special about this battle is that it answers the question as to which one of these was stronger, Mega Evolution or Z moves. Brock Mega evolves his Steelix and Kiawe uses a Fire type Z move. Kiawe's Z move did a lot of damage, but it wasn't enough to take out Brock's Mega Steelix. This episode did confirm that Mega Evolution is indeed stronger than Z moves, but this is not the only reason why Mega Evolution may be superior, because Mega Evolution requires a very strong bond with your Pokemon, and it actually lasts way longer than a Z move. Mega Evolution lasts until the Pokemon is fainted or the battle's over, and it's a lot harder to take down a Mega Evolved Pokemon. Z Crystals, on the other hand, are a lot easier to get than Mega Stones, making them way more common and less special than Mega Evolution. And like I've said before, Mega Evolution requires a very strong bond with the Pokemon, otherwise the Pokemon could be badly hurt in the process. And when Ash first uses a Z move, Kiawe gives him this lecture that you need to have a very strong bond and be one with the Z. But if James can use a Z move, I'm sure anybody can. This bond you're talking about can't be very strong. And unlike Mega Evolution, where it lasts for a very long time, Z moves are a one-shot thing. You only get one chance to use a Z move, and if you miss, which a lot of times they can in fact dodge Z moves, that's it, you're done. But what does any of this have to do with Ash facing off against Mega Evolution and Z's in the Pokemon Leagues? Well, it's been confirmed that Mega Evolution is stronger than Z moves, so that means that Ash in the Kalos League had to face off against way stronger Pokemon than the Pokemon in the Alola League. Like I said before, a lot of the trainers in the Kalos League had Mega Evolved Pokemon because they had such strong bonds with their Pokemon and were much more experienced trainers. In Alola, every single trainer had Z moves because, like I said earlier, they're way more common than Mega Stones. You don't have to be a very experienced trainer to use a Z move, so this means that Mega Evolution is way harder and way more complex to use than a Z move. This is just another piece of proof that the Kalos League was a way stronger league than the Alola League. Now let's talk about how Ash broke several rules while battling in the Alola League. And I'm not just talking about that whole counter-on-counter bull, I'm talking about stuff that was even worse. Let's look at Ash's battle with Hau. In this battle, Ash was using his Rowlet and was going up against Hau's Decidueye. Now Ash breaks not one, not two, but 3 rules in this battle. The first rule Ash breaks is giving his Rowlet an Everstone. Now it's okay to give your Rowlet an Everstone if it was used for its intended purpose of not evolving your Pokemon, but Ash uses the Everstone as an actual projectile. Ash's Rowlet would swallow the Everstone and then shoot it out of his mouth every time he used Seed Bomb, which is very wrong. First of all, Ash is bringing a foreign object into the battle. Sure, there's items like the Rocky Helmet and the leftovers that would help a Pokemon in battle, but in the anime, they never use items of any kind. This is one of those things that only happens in the games and is never talked about in the anime. It's kind of like TMs, they never show up in the anime. The second problem with Ash bringing the Everstone into battle is the way Rowlet uses it. Every time his Rowlet uses Seed Bomb, he legit shoots the stone out of his mouth, dealing way more damage than his normal Seed Bomb would. For all we know, Rowlet using Seed Bomb with the Everstone could even do super effective damage to Decidueye. Remember that Decidueye is a grass flying type. So this means that Rowlet's Seed Bomb, a grass type move, would not be very effective against Decidueye. But if he has the Everstone in his mouth and he shoots it at Decidueye, this turns it into a super effective rock type move. Do you know how messed up that is? Okay, let's move on to the next rule that Ash broke during this battle. Before the battle, Ash gives Rowlet a little costume so he can look a bit more like Decidueye. And sure, the costume looks harmless and it looks like it's not doing anybody harm, but it's actually putting Hau at a great disadvantage. During the battle, Hau was going to use a fully powered Z move on Rowlet, but the costume ended up taking the damage instead. This ended up wasting Hau's Z move and put him at a great disadvantage. I mean, could you imagine using a full-on Z move knowing that it's going to hit the Pokemon 100%, only for it to hit the costume instead? I really don't understand how Ash got away with this. Okay, moving on to the third and final rule that Ash broke. Rowlet falling asleep during the battle. This is really one thing I don't like about Ash's Rowlet. It really ticks me off how he keeps falling asleep during these important moments. But yeah, Ash's Rowlet fell asleep mid-battle and everyone thought he had fainted. And there's even a chance they would have disqualified Ash for this. But get this, the Kahuna himself stood up for Ash and told the ref that the Rowlet was asleep. How lucky can Ash get that someone actually stuck up for him? The exact same thing happened in the Indigo League with Ash's Charizard, but no one decided to stand up for Ash and tell the ref to keep the battle going. And the same thing happens in Alola, but this time one of the head honchos running this whole thing decides to help Ash. How lucky can Ash get? You see what I mean here? There's just something that's not right about this league. And after breaking all 3 of these rules, Ash wins against Decidueye. I have no doubt that Hal would have won this battle if it wasn't for Ash breaking so many rules and getting away with it. Okay, let's talk about Team Rocket. Now this one doesn't seem to be as important as the others, but it's still worth mentioning. In every, and I mean every season of Pokemon before Sun and Moon, Team Rocket would ruin everything for Ash. Heck, they're even the reason that Ash lost the Indigo League. And in XY, they would ruin so many opportunities that Ash had. It was only until the Kalos League that they decided to finally bug off. But if you pay attention to the Alola seasons, they really don't bug Ash all that much compared to other seasons of Pokemon. In Sun and Moon, Ash had a lot of great opportunities like he did in XY, but this time, Team Rocket didn't mess with him. In Alola, Team Rocket didn't interfere that much, and that also helped Ash get proper training and was able to enter the league without having to worry about Team Rocket. Unlike other leagues like the Indigo League, where Team Rocket literally cost him the chance of winning. We finally made it to the last piece of this puzzle, the last piece of exposing Ash for the fraud that he is. Now we're going to talk about Ash's legendaries and his incredible luck throughout all of Alola. Let's all be honest, way too many good things happened to Ash while he was in Alola. Ash caught several Ultra Beasts, caught Solgaleo, and even discovered a new legendary Pokemon, Meltan. He had all kinds of great adventures working for Lusamine. He got his own special Pikachunium Z, and even caught a special Dusk Lycanroc. Too many, and I mean too many good things happened to Ash while he was in Alola. But why did so many good things happen to Ash while he was in Alola? Why couldn't any of these happen to him in previous regions when he really needed it? And guys, after a lot of research, I think I found the answer. The real reason why Ash had so much luck in the Alola League is because the Pokemon Riders threw in the towel. And let me explain why. Back in 2016, XYZ was about to end, and Pokemon was delivering way more hype than usual for the finale. But when the finale finally arrived, Ash didn't win against Leland, and this disappointed so many people. To this day, we still don't exactly know why they made Ash lose the Kalos League. But my best guess would be that they wanted to keep the trend of Ash going to new regions and new leagues. They wanted to keep that going. Because if Ash won the Kalos League, then he would have become the Pokemon Master that everyone wanted to be, but they wouldn't have much else to do with Ash. And when Ash lost the Kalos League, there was a lot of backlash. Afterwards, the writers realized they screwed up, so they wanted to make things right. But it was too late to fix the Kalos League, so they wanted to make sure that Ash won the Alola League instead. And if fans that left after XY heard that Ash won the Alola League, there was a chance that they would check out the Alola seasons just to see how Ash won. And it seems like this worked because a lot of people didn't care which league Ash won, they only cared that he won a league. Most fans wouldn't even have realized how underwhelming the final battle was. Fans didn't care if Ash won the Orange League or Battle Frontier, they just wanted to see Ash win a big name league. And after 20 years, the fans finally got what they wanted, and they didn't care what league or what Ash it was. So yes, the Pokemon Company did rig the tournament in Ash's favor, and they rigged it in way more ways than you think. But really quickly, I wanted to share a couple of things about Ash with you guys before I wrap up the video. I noticed in the Alola League that the rules with Ash and other companions were sort of reversed. I noticed that in the Kanto region, Ash had really bad luck and his rival ended up winning because of that. And I noticed that in the Alola League, Ash had really good luck and Hao had really bad luck, causing Hao to lose. And the Alola League didn't really have a Tobias with legendary Pokemon because Ash was the Tobias of the Alola League. Ash was the one bringing Melmetal and Naganadels to the battlefield, so in a way, Ash kind of became the Tobias of the Alola League. Once again, the roles were reversed. And do you guys remember that scene from Rocky 3 where Rocky and Mickey were having a big argument over whether or not Rocky could be Clever Lang? I feel like the same thing could happen to Ash.
So why are you doing this? Because you can't win, Rock. This guy will kill you to death inside of 3 rounds.
You're crazy.
What else is new?
He's just another fighter.
No, he ain't just another fighter. This guy is a wrecking machine, and he's hungry. Hell, you ain't been hungry since you won that belt.
Oh, what are you talking about? I've had 10 title defenses.
That was easy.
What do you mean easy?
They was handpicked.
Setups?
Ah, they were setups. There was good fighters, but they wasn't killers like this guy. He'll knock you into tomorrow, Rock.
Yeah, that was unnecessary, but it was fun. I'm really happy with the way this video turned out. I love the way it looks. I love the way it came out. And it really shows that my editing has grown so much. And I love that I was able to remaster one of my favorite theories that I made back then. I had a mission to expose Ash for the fraud that he is. And I feel like I completed that mission. And I feel like I did it in a very entertaining way. Yes, we did expose Ash for the fraud that he is. He is no champion. But hey, that's just a theory. A lagging Leland theory. Thanks for watching. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this video, make sure y'all like and subscribe because I'm going to be making way more videos like this. This was one of my biggest projects that I've ever worked on, and it's really one of my favorite theories that I've ever come up with. This year, I'm going to be uploading a lot more than I did last year, so if you guys like this video and you guys liked any of my content, make sure you go check out some of my other content that I've made. I made a lot of other stuff. I'll leave some links in the description. Make sure that you guys comment because I really do love to hear feedback from you guys, and really showing some support by liking and subscribing. That really does mean a lot. It really does boost morale for me. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you if you made it to the end. Just letting you know if you made it to the end. Thank you so much for just watching this entire thing because I put a lot of work into it. This is going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. God bless you guys, and I'll see you all in my next video.